All right, we're good. We're live. Hey everybody, Dan here today, coming at you solo. Unfortunately, due to a last-minute emergency, Danielle and Victoria both are indisposed today. So I will have to ask you to bear with me a little bit. I'm going to be running all of the equipment and trying to focus on all the cameras at the same time. And I'll also be cooking up for you today one of my favorite go-to breakfasts. As well, we're going to discuss some of the finer points on how to live a healthy life and how to also participate in some hedonistic debauchery if that's your thing that you enjoy doing on the weekends. That being said, we'll kind of give you a little bit of a synopsis here. So it is Memorial Weekend, definitely a holiday that we would like to remember soldiers who have fallen, soldiers who have given their life, given everything, so that, well, quite frankly, I can do this TV show and you can watch it. That being said, we've turned Memorial Weekend into something where lots of parties, barbecues, things of that nature happen. And if you're like me, when you go to parties and barbecues, you like to drink alcohol. Now, the unfortunate thing about that is there's this side effect. When you drink alcohol, especially in copious amounts, you tend to borrow fun from the following day. Yes, so you end up having to pay that fun debt. We call them hangovers. They normally don't make you feel very good. That being said, if you do find yourself in a position where you basically completely derail all the healthy things you've been doing for yourself by participating in these events, don't let it be an excuse. Don't let it be your reason to not get right back to it, to not go back into the healthy things and be like, well, I feel awful today. I did all this terrible stuff to my body yesterday. Maybe I should just sit around and eat crap food today too. Now, it's that cycle of thinking. It takes you down a very bad path, and it's very easy to kind of fall into that trap and think, well, I screwed up once, why not just run with it? Why not keep going with it? Listen, you don't have to. You can get right back into it. So one of the first things that I like to do is I like to start my morning off replenishing all the things that I absolutely got rid of yesterday. So we get very dehydrated when we drink alcohol, which may seem a little bit weird to you because, well, you're drinking lots of liquid. But yes, part of processing alcohol through your body, through your system, your kidney, your liver, it takes a lot of water to do that. So we tend to become very dehydrated. You want to make sure that you start off with lots of great water. You're going to want to replace all the electrolytes that you destroyed the previous day. And as well, you can also put some other things in there to kind of help perk you up a little bit. So what I've got going on in here is I have electrolyte infused water. I've got a little bit of creatine powder mixed in there and some branched chain amino acids. So this isn't going to fix everything for you, but it definitely is going to get you on that right track to not feeling quite so much like death warmed over anymore because, well, you're replacing everything that you didn't have. After that, we want to start with an awesome breakfast. So what I'm going to be cooking up for you guys today is one of my favorites, one of my go-tos when I'm feeling hungry and it is breakfast time. Well, in this case, 11 a.m., which is breakfast time for me. So what we're going to start with today is an English muffin. But this is Ezekiel bread. So if you're unfamiliar with Ezekiel bread, it is a bread made from sprouts. It is a much healthier alternative to traditional breads, bleached breads, things of that nature. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to microwave this for about a minute. Ezekiel bread is something you have to keep in the freezer, otherwise it goes bad very quickly. Hello Heather, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you hanging with us today. So I'm going to put that in the microwave for a minute. What that's going to allow it to do is soften up a bit so that way I can actually cut into it and then put it into my toaster to give it a nice little toasty edge. Otherwise you'd be trying to eat a frozen English muffin and well, I've never tried, but I definitely would not recommend it. So while that's starting up, we're going to go ahead and turn on our stove. That way that can start heating up. I'm going to be using some Kerrygold butter here, just a tablespoon, enough to get the pan a little bit greasy, and well, I also really, really love the flavor of butter. Looks like our English muffins. All right, so now this is pliable enough that we can actually cut into it. Always be very, very careful when you're cutting things. You know, you don't want to cut your hand open. Ooh, that's hot. Woo! You can see the steam coming off that. Very good. So now that is separated in half, and we're just going to kind of tuck this off to the side. So another thing is I like to kind of time everything out so that way everything really gets all cooked at the same time. Yes, Kerrygold is also very great in coffee. So for those of you who do your bulletproof coffees, this is definitely awesome to put in there. I know it's not always called bulletproof coffee. That's one of the trademark names of it, but I just call it that. Basically, it's just coffee filled with fat. If you do keto dieting, things like that, it's definitely something that they like to throw in as a staple. A lot of people that do intermittent fasting will use it as kind of like their go-to in the morning, have a little bit of fat to keep them going while they're getting into their day. So that's melting up nice. Now what we're going to do is we're going to throw a handful of kale and spinach in there, and I literally mean a handful. I'm just going to take a glob of this out. Ooh, there you go, Odie. And the fun part is that's going to wilt down to just about nothing. So even though the fact that I pulled out an entire handful, it's still not going to look like much as it gets into the cooking process. Put this away. There we go. I'm going to let that keep heating up a little bit. So I don't know how you guys like your eggs, but I am a huge fan of scrambled. That is what I do most of the time. Little crack on the side there. Push through, pull. Ba, ba, ba. Crack. Push. Pull. Crack. Push. Pull. And there we go. We don't have to fish any eggshells out of there. Thank goodness. Oh, always hate when that happens. You get a little piece of eggshell in there. It's like, well, I can ignore it, and then I'll find it later when I'm eating. Or I can take the painstaking time to try and fish that out. Nice trick to really make sure you get some fluffy scrambled eggs. Get a fork in there and stir the crap out of them. It's almost the right consistency. Give that a little bit more. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Now you can also add a little bit of water to it, which definitely gives the eggs a little bit more volume and does fluff them up a little bit more too. Oh, you know, I really do enjoy the smell of fresh cooking spinach and kale. Although it could also be because it's sauteing in butter right now too. Eh. Look at that, you see that? It's an entire handful. It's already wilted down to about a third of that. Oh, fantastic. Looks like Heather was just making this breakfast too. Awesome. Let's see, do we have any questions coming in on the gram? Nope, doesn't look like it. All right. There we go. The spinach is almost to the point we want it at. You're always going to have to cook it to personal preference. I personally like my spinach very well cooked before I mix anything else in with it. But we do have some leftover veggies from a previous dinner that we're going to utilize to A, get rid of some leftovers, and B, add a little bit more color to our eggs. Now these are already cooked, they just need to be reheated more or less. That's why I didn't throw them in immediately. Now right as we added that, we're going to get the toaster going. So all that should end at relatively the same time. Look at that, nice and colorful. And then we're just going to dump our eggs right on in. Hi, baby. What's up? Oh, hi. You know. All right. I like to add a little bit of feta in with my eggs. Get a little bit of fat in there. And a little flavor. Nothing too crazy. Oh, look at that. And that is breakfast. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Breakfast. Done. There's no such thing as not having time to make a healthy meal for yourself. We tend to make the time for things that are important to us, and then we tell ourselves we don't have the time for things that we wish or want. Why is that? There has been some new controversy about the benefits of eggs. Have you heard about the study? No, I have not heard about that study. I'm very intrigued. Do you have some more information, or do you have some links you can send me? Anybody else out there heard anything about this? This is definitely one for me. I love eggs. I eat them all the time. So, what I want to wrap with you guys today about is understanding life balance. You know, we see these fitness models on Instagram. We see these really healthy people that are living their best version. And that's awesome. They are motivating, they're fit, they're healthy. But that's not everyone. That's not the average person. Most of us like to drink beer. Most of us like to have unhealthy meals from time to time. Most of us struggle to motivate ourselves to get into the gym and do the work that we need to do to get stronger. Now, that doesn't mean that that's an excuse to not pursue your goals, not pursue any of that stuff. What it simply means is not everyone is going to be dedicated or motivated 100% of the time, all the time. But what you can do is you can take little steps to make better choices every single day, because, quite frankly, those little things are always going to amount to much more, especially if you're not doing anything to begin with. But you never have to go for broke. You never have to try to emulate those people who inspire you to be healthier. And you always have to understand and recognize that you're not going to be that person. And trying to tell yourself you are going to be that person is just going to set yourself up for disappointment and failure. Be you, but be the best darn version of you, whatever that means, whatever that is for you. So, I'm a trainer. I work in the health industry. I like to drink with my friends when I go party with them. I probably do it a little bit to excess, and I pay for it the next day. I've got a whole bunch of yard work planned out for doing today outside in the sun, and I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to eat a very healthy breakfast. I'm going to keep getting myself hydrated. While I'm out there, I'm going to take my time, make sure I don't get overheated. You know, don't let the sun affect me too much. But I'm not going to let something like that stop me from doing the things that I like to do. I'm not going to beat myself up over the fact that I was out partying last night. I'm not going to go, shame on you, Dad, you should know better, you should be healthier. Because at the end of the day, you only get one chance to go through. You only get one life. And if you're not happy, if you're not enjoying the things that you're doing, what is really the point at the end of the day? You have to find that balance. You have to find that balance between forcing yourself to do good things for yourself and also doing the things that bring you pleasure. And that's really what I mean by hedonistic debauchery. I mean, it doesn't even have to boil down to that. It can be something as simple as, I like milkshakes. Well, don't have a milkshake every single day, but don't cut the milkshakes out from your life completely and never touch one ever again, because that's also not realistic. And it's not going to make you happy. All right. Looks like I'll be getting a screenshot of that study. Definitely going to read into that and look into that. Thank you very much for sharing that. I appreciate that. And that is the ding of success. And here we have a delicious breakfast. Get a nice close-up for the camera for you guys too. So good. So hey, I hope you guys enjoyed cooking with me this morning. Simple breakfast, scrambled eggs, veggies, Ezekiel bread. You don't have to go crazy. You never have to go crazy. You just have to do little things. Good little things. Man, it's so much easier to carry on a conversation when you have other people to talk to. So when you're standing in a kitchen just kind of talking to yourself, it feels very weird. It does. It feels very weird. Unfortunately, that is all the show that we have for today. Finding life balance. Recognizing that you can have fun, you can do the things that bring you joy, you can have your milkshake from time to time, but you have to understand that doing that every single day is not good for you, and it's not going to set you up to be in a scenario where you even feel good at all. You can do those things like party on the weekends, a weekend, not every single weekend, because again, too much of anything is not good, and still lead your best life. Yeah. Beer with friends is a very healthy activity. What's your hangover cure? So, I did cover this at the beginning, but I'll definitely, for anybody who's tuning in a little bit late or just catching it now, I always like to mix up some electrolytes in water with a little bit of creatine and some branched chain amino acids. Pedialyte is also really, really, really good for a hangover and post-partying. Again, it's full of electrolytes and it really helps you rehydrate and replenish all of the stuff that you've destroyed inside your body. I did have a roommate once upon a time who used to swear by gosh, I can't remember what they're called. It's basically a raw egg and Tabasco sauce. And, I mean, he said it always worked really well for him. I just don't think I could ever put a raw egg and Tabasco sauce into my body and enjoy any of that. So I stick with my electrolyte infused water, my branched chain amino acids, and my creatine. So does anybody else out there have any questions today? Anything about the breakfast? Anything about trying to lead your best life? Figuring out how to work all of this? Well, I guess that's going to be it for our show. Nice, short, quick one today. Really appreciate everybody who tuned in. Sorry we had to deal with some emergencies and we weren't able to bring you the show that we wanted to bring. So next week we will be firing back up. Episode 16, we'll be talking about ketogenesis, all the fun things associated with that, all the trials, tribulations, and some of the science behind it. Other than that, please make sure if you enjoy what we're doing, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button. Every like, every follow, every subscriber helps us help more people. Because again, the algorithms, that's what they function off of. All right. Well, hey guys, thank you very much for hanging out with me on this Sunday. I hope you have an awesome day. Enjoy your weekend, and please make sure you get out there and find some way to pay your respects to the people who have made it possible for us to do this.